Today we're taking a look at the Utah Jazz vs Los Angeles Lakers match, which is happening on Saturday, April 17, 2021, and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. The Jazz were able to pick up their second straight win Friday night at home versus the Indiana Pacers, as they spotted the Pacers 13 points at the half only to outscore the road team 63-42 in the second half en route to their 42nd win of the season. The Jazz defense was solid yet again in giving up under 40% shooting to the Pacers, while their offense, despite committing 20 turnovers, made 48% of their shots along with 16 trays. And while Utah has won 6 of their last 7 at Vivint Smart Home Arena, they have failed to cover in 5 of their last 7 outings, including as 10-point favorites versus Indiana. The Lakers enter this contest dropping 2 of their last 3 games after falling at home to the Boston Celtics Thursday night by 8 points. And despite forcing 21 turnovers, the Lakers' defense gave up over 50% shooting to the road team, in addition to 14 trays, with Jaylen Brown leading the way with 40 points and 9 rebounds. Los Angeles struggled, making just 45% of their shots along with 32% from deep, as Kyle Kuzma along with Marc Gasol were the only starters in double digits with 13 and 18 points, with Gasol going 4-6 from long range. In fact, the reserves for Los Angeles outscored the starters by a 69-44, with Talen Horton-Tucker, 19, and newly acquired Ben McLemore, 17, leading the way. The Lakers failed to cover as 7.5-point dogs, yet a 4-2 ATS in their last 6 games. On Saturday, the Los Angeles Lakers host the Utah Jazz in the first game of a 2-game series. The Lakers got some great news as of late, with Anthony Davis being cleared for on-court activity after being out since January 28 and missing 31 games, but he won't be returning for Saturday's game against the Jazz. The Lakers are 34-22 and currently 5th in the Western Conference. They haven't fallen too far down the standings after losing LeBron James and Davis, but now they must face the first-place Utah Jazz, who continue to rock and roll. However, on Friday evening, the Jazz lost Donovan Mitchell to an ankle injury, and while early reports have been positive that he is not going to miss much time, he will miss Saturday's game. This will even up the matchup between the two teams, and without Utah's best scorer, I have my eyes set on the total. So here's my first betting suggestion for that game. The Utah Jazz have been winning and covering machines this season, but they're on the end of a back-to-back and are likely going to be without Donovan Mitchell, who badly turned his ankle yesterday. The Los Angeles Lakers are rested, at home, and while they've been hit or miss without AD and LeBron, they're improving and winning their last 5 games by an average of 0.8 points. This is a lot of points for a Jazz team without their best player. Give me the Lakers. Looking at the betting trends, the Jazz are 1-5 ATS in their last 6 road games and 7-2 ATS in their last 9 games playing on 0 days rest. The Lakers are 1-5 ATS in their last 6 home games and 2-7 ATS in their last 9 games against a team with a winning record. Head-to-head, the Jazz are 1-5 ATS in the last 6 meetings overall, and the Jazz are 1-4 ATS in the last 5 meetings in Los Angeles. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Los Angeles plus 8.5. After their uncharacteristic defeat at the hands of the Washington Wizards at home April 12, the Jazz immediately got back on the winning track with defense, as they have given up just 104 points on average to their last 2 opponents. Versus the Pacers, the Jazz won the rebounding batting by a 56-43 margin, with Rudy Gobert pulling down 23 on the night while scoring 13, his 3rd straight double-double, and his 7th in his last 10 starts. More importantly, the 7-foot center collected a steal along with 4 blocks, his 11th in 2 matchups. The Jazz do have some other strong scorers that can pick up the slack in Mitchell's absence, such as Jordan Clarkson, Joe Ingles, and Bojan Bogdanovic, but they are highly dependent on the three-pointer. The Jazz continue to bomb away three-pointers, leading the league in three-point attempt rate, 49% of all field goal attempts, and ranking 4th in three-point percentage, 38.71%. The Lakers tend to guard against the three-pointer quite well and are second in the league in three-point percentage allowed, 34.5%. In an era of small ball and high-volume three-point shooting, Gobert is proof that the big man is still relevant, having cemented himself as a frontrunner for Defensive Player of the Year. He leads the league in defensive win shares, 4.0, is second in defensive rating, 100.9, according to Basketball Reference, and is averaging a career-high 2.8 blocks per game. The on/off numbers show that the Jazz's defensive rating decreases by an astonishing 10.5 points when he is off the court. Offensively, Donovan Mitchell and Bojan Bogdanovic continued their solid production with 22 and 24 points versus the Pacers, with the latter really pouring it on of late, averaging 26 in his last 3 starts, 11 above his yearly average. Important to add that Mitchell left the game early with an ankle sprain and is questionable for this contest. The guard shot just 4-16 from the field while missing 5 of 7 shots from deep for 13 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists in the team's 25-point home win over the Lakers earlier in the year. Bogdanovic accounted for 5 of the team's 22 trays as he posted 15 and 8, while reserve Jordan Clarkson, who continues to provide a consistent spark off the bench, finished with 18 as well while going 4-10 from long range. Worth noting that scoring for Utah has dipped in recent meetings versus the Lakers at Staples, with the team posting an average of just 95 points in their last 4 outings. On the other hand, the defense has held Los Angeles to only 97 points during this time. Andre Drummond has suited up in only 5 games for the Lakers since being traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers. During this time, he has recorded 2 double-doubles, yet is averaging only just over 8 points per game, 15 turnovers. He suffered a toe injury in the finale of an extended road trip versus the Charlotte Hornets last Tuesday and is now questionable for this contest. Furthermore, Markieff Morris is also questionable with an ankle injury as he did not suit up versus the Celtics. To make matters worse, Gasol fractured his finger during their loss to Boston, yet is scheduled to make the start versus the Jazz. They've continued to keep the pace slow, ranking 19th, 98.6, over the past 5 games. With Drummond and Gasol both in the lineup, I expected to keep it slow. One of their better scorers, Dennis Schroeder, has had to take on a much larger burden on offense since James has been out. However, he will have Mike Conley guarding him, who is a strong defender that can help limit his production. In the 5 home games they have played without James since his injury, they have gone 4-1 to the under, per the Sports Data Query language database. Without the King, their offense is continuing to stall. In addition, the Lakers have had tendencies to not play well at home this season. I don't expect them to have much success against the stout Jazz defense. Since the 2018-2019 season, when the Lakers play an opponent with a win percentage of greater than .666, those games have gone 28-12, 70% to the under, per the SDQL database. The Lakers ramp up their defense when playing in these marquee games. To say the least, the Lakers have had their fair share of injury this year, with LeBron James and Anthony Davis already missing a combined 28 games. Yet despite their injury issues, they have managed to avoid a string of disastrous losses while remaining in 5th in the playoff standings in the West, 2 games ahead of the Portland Trail Blazers. However, the Lakers could only muster 89 points in their last meeting versus the Jazz in a 25-point road loss. James and Morris led the team with 19 and 12 points, while Montrezl Harrell posted 16 off the bench. However, Gasol finished with 8 on 3 to 7 FG, while Horton Tucker also scored 8 on a dismal shooting night, 3.12 FG. Kuzma shot 2 to 7 from the floor for 5 off the bench, and Dennis Schroeder, who was also coming off a less than stellar performance versus the Celtics, did not suit up as the Lakers shot only 40%, 8 to 33 FA. So here's my second betting suggestion for that game. Since the 2010 to 2011 season, when 2 elite teams, defined as win percentage greater than .600, play each other after the All-Star break, those games have gone 195, 126, 10, 60.7% to the under, per the STQL database. These teams tend to play more defense against conference rivals when they are fighting for seeding. This should hold especially true for these two strong defensive teams even without some key players. These two teams already met back on February 24th and had a combined score of 203 in a Jazz beatdown of the Lakers. With Mitchell not playing, there is no reason to think this will not be another low-scoring game. I make the fair total on this game 213, and my recommendation is to play the under. I also like the Lakers to cover the generous spread at home. My second betting advice for that game is to pick under. And now for some betting stats and trends. Lakers are 5-1 ATS in last 6 meetings. Lakers are 4-1 ATS in last 6 home meetings. Lakers are 5-0 ATS in last 5 at a SU loss. Jazz are 1-7 ATS in their last 8 road games versus a team with a winning home record. Jazz are 1-5 ATS in their last 6 games as a road favorite. Jazz are 1-5 ATS in their last 6 road games. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.